But what he has done, to be quite honest with you, is absolutely disgusting. And I always hope, and I always want to give athletes the benefit of the doubt, to say, okay, you took something, you know, someone gave you something to take, or you didn't know what you were taking. But do you know what is the absolute liberty about all of this? Is the way that he, after he failed that test on Monday, texts me, texts you, to say, I swear I've not taken anything. This is sabotage. This is just a system against me. Fuck off. It's an absolute, and you know what, it makes me sick that someone would go to those lengths in a fight. People have died in the ring, you know? And you're talking about Anthony Joshua, you're talking about someone.
This is an interview that Eddie Hearn did with IFL. It's on their channel, IFL. And Dillian Whyte's in this video too, after the news, you know, had hit like its peak with Big Baby Miller failing that drug test. It's history now that Andy Ruiz has defeated Anthony Joshua. And now Deontay Wilder has responded. The promoter, Yvonne Michelle, also the promoter of former promoter of Madonna Stevenson. Remember what happened with that situation? He's doing a lot better now, thankfully. A fighter by the name of Maxim Dadashev died this last Friday. I guess what I'm saying is this. Here, let's go translate. He didn't know. It is with amazement that we learned yesterday reading boxing scene that the news Dillian Whyte was tested positive for illegal stuff before the fight against Oscar Gaboon. None of the parties involved has confirmed or denied the information. So, did he not know? If he didn't know, then that's a big ass issue. Because now it falls on Eddie Hearn. It's like, well, wait a minute. Look at it from a business standpoint. They found out on July the 17th. And according to Eddie Hearn's tweet, and he's been quiet since, by the way, he's got a press conference coming up with Maurice Hooker and Jose Ramirez. The heat is about to be on him in just a few hours. 1 p.m. Eastern. So the question is this. According to his tweet here, let's go pull it up and read it. Let's go pull it up and read it. It doesn't make sense. Further to reports, I can confirm that both Dillian Whyte and Oscar Rivas were subject to extensive VADA and UKAD, United Kingdom anti-doping testing for their bout. Both fighters were cleared to fight, both bodies, and the British Boxing Board of Control. But the WBC was not informed. And Rivas' side was not informed. So, which means that, see, with a failed test, the fight should be called off, correct? That's just my opinion, especially in this day and age of boxing. If you fail a test, a fight should be postponed, you know, until the B sample. You don't want that to be on your head, a fighter going, I wouldn't want it, a fighter going into the ring, one of my fighters going into the ring, notice he got some shit in the system, but we ain't tell the other side. Now remember, this was a Sky Sports pay-per-view event. This was also added to the zone. Eddie Hearn's stateside broadcaster streaming at the last minute, about a week before the fight. Not even during fight week, pretty much. A week before the fight. So a lot of money would have been lost if Dillian Whyte would have pulled out. And now it's like, what's worse now, this aftermath? Especially since what happened to Maxim Dadashev and another fighter died. The WBC reported in another boxing match, untelevised somewhere. I forgot where. It's not a good look. Now, no matter what it is, whether it's weed, whether it's cocaine, it's still a banned substance. Failed drug test, banned substance. It may not be some old GW 15, 16 shit, that fucking Big Baby Miller was taking. But still, in this day and age, I feel that if a fighter fails a drug test, hold up, we got to investigate this shit. No getting in the ring, call this shit off. So why did the fight go on? And Dillian Whyte is extremely quiet. And also, look at the energy from Fight Week. From Dillian Whyte, from the public workout. I watched it all in full. From the final press conference, the energy wasn't there, right? Something was a little off. He didn't call out Deontay Wilder or nothing like that. He wasn't talking no big shit. He just was like, well, if it happens, it happens. That was literally like his, response to a couple of questions. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. Listen to some more of this, though, because it's crazy. Here, let's start right here where Dillian Whyte comes in at. So you would think that you can take all of this from the beginning of this interview that he was talking about with Coogan, and you can apply it to...
And it's frightening to think that this could go on. And we know it goes on. But to this extensive level, and this is a guy who signed for VADA testing. It's not a guy who goes, oh, I won't get tested. He knows he's going to get tested, like, every week. So what are you doing? Like, cheating's bad enough, but just the bare-faced cheek of it to try and get through this. You must have been so afraid of this fight. You must have been so afraid of Anthony Joshua that you have to get this edge. And I am absolutely disgusted. And all the questions like, would you work with this guy again? Because you always hope they were unlucky. Fighters are vulnerable people, right? They can get exposed. They can get manipulated.
Is Dillian Whyte unlucky? Listen to this, though. Dillian Whyte's going to pop in out of nowhere, then I'm going to end it, because that's about a minute. Don't be mad at me, IFL. I'm promoting your shit. Don't, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker! Does he know the fight's off?
Fucking unbelievable.
He's red raging, I think. He's getting mad.
What's that from?
No, someone sent
Miller
it to
just sent it to me,
No,
saying
he didn't.
He did. I think he beat the.
That's crazy. Here's what Deontay Wilder had to say, by the way, on his Instagram. Now, here you have a fighter that has been recently reported for taking PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. In fact, it was said he had over more than one substance in his body. This fighter has been caught before using PEDs, that Jack 3D shit all those years ago. There's some controversy around that. Just look it up, Jack 3D. This fighter has been caught using PEDs, so this is his second attempt. This shit has to stop. The bleeding has to stop somewhere. We just had a fighter to fucking die in the ring because of too many blows to the head. And you have idiots like Dillian Whyte want to cheat just to come up in his career because he's not good enough to do it alone. Oscar Rivas was his opponent that Dillian Whyte fought recently on a drug in which Oscar Rivas dropped the drug user and almost beat him. So Mr. Whyte, all that in the shit and a half worked. You still got put on your ass. I get my money back. He's been claiming to want to fight me, but the question is, if you're doping with non-champion, just imagine what you would try to use if you had a chance to fight me. Overdose. Him and his promoter Eddie Hearn gave the WBC boxing and Mauricio Suleiman hell, while all along, I'm just going to fix the typos and, just what it's supposed to say. So all along, this motherfucker has been cheating, shaking my head. Then he has the audacity to try to snitch on his countryman Anthony Joshua and accuse him of doing drugs when he himself is doing it as well. On top of that, his promoters tried his best to cover this up before Whyte's recent fight. Somebody come and look at this shit. I get criticized for saying things like, I'm gonna kill you, and mean it, but without any substance whatsoever in my body. But here you have so many fighters like the likes of Dillian Whyte that flood their body with PEDs just to advance to the next level while committing an attempt of murder, but want to speak against PED users, shaking my head, get the fuck out of here, laughing my ass off. Boxing is a place where you can hate it, but love it all at the same damn time. This nigga definitely the donkey of the year. To this day, hee-haw, ee-haw. That's the fucking Shrek donkey, right? It's ugly. Especially if it's true that it's looking like Eddie tried to cover this shit up. For money. They couldn't let the pay-per-view be off. This shit looking ugly, man. And Dillian, I don't listen. And the fact that Dillian Whyte is all quiet, damage control is a motherfucker. And what if Vada? What did Vada have to? Did they not find it? It's. We need way more information. We need to see. We need to know for one, what it was that he failed for. We need to know from I don't know. I can't really decipher that tweet. Like, did they know that Eddie Hearn and them go to Yvonne Michelle and Oscar Rivas say, hey, listen, he failed the drug test. Dillian Whyte. It's a lot of money on the table, career high for Oscar Rivas. The fight can still go on. Here's what the drug is. Y'all decide if y'all want to go on or not. We'll give y'all some extra money. Or did they just say, oh shit, Dillian Whyte, we're not gonna tell them. Let's go in the ring. It could be overturned to a no contest. Because just like here in the States, remember what happened with the Billy Joe Saunders situation where that Ozoxofrene shit was legal over there, according to UCAD, and over here in the States, VADA, it wasn't legal. You know, what if it's one of those loopholes? But either way, it just all looks shady on Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte's part. And it's a shame because with everything that's been happening this year in boxing, you know, with drug testing and all this type of shit, Dillian Whyte may be finished, like, you know, with some shit like this. Because, you know, if Eddie Hearn's really sticking his neck out there for me, remember Dillian Whyte's on a fight-by-fight basis, from my understanding, fight-by-fight contract. You know, we're going to have to see, man. I'm TstreeT Controversy with TstreeT Controversy Live, FightView360.com. We got a podcast coming, live show coming very soon. Call-ins, all that shit. You see this same setup we got here? You know, imagine that with call-ins and live Skype interviews. We're getting there, man. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.